This is a guided tour of Cellscape, a journey inside of a human cell. For the coolest experience, view this video in a VR headset. If you don't have a headset, you can still explore the environment if you watch this in Google Chrome or on the YouTube app on a smartphone. This project was made possible by the Google Making and Science team. Okay, get ready to shrink down a couple million times and take a trip inside of a person. Here we are. Check out this world. There is so much cool stuff to see. Look to the sides and turn behind you. Tilt your head back and look above. Look down below. Keep looking all around as we talk about what we're seeing. So where exactly are we? Maybe it looks like we're in the middle of the ocean or somewhere on another planet. But right now, we're in the body of a person inside something called a cell. So what is a cell? Cells are like tiny blocks that build living things. Dogs, plants, fish, you name it. They're all made of cells. Almost everything in your body is made of cells. Your heart is made of cells, and your lungs, and your skin, and your nerves. Your body is made of about 40 trillion cells. They're really small. We're in the middle of one of these tiny cells, and it's definitely a busy place. The cell is almost like a little city. There's so much stuff going on. You'll see lots of really big things that look like huge sculptures with really weird shapes. These are called organelles. The organelles are like buildings or factories in a city. They have many different jobs, and they work together to keep the cell alive and healthy. If you look around and look below you, you'll see tons of small little things floating around. Most of these are things called proteins, and they're sort of like little workers. Some proteins help the cell grow. Others help the cell eat foods and get energy. And if it looks like everything is swimming around, it sort of is. The inside of the cell is filled with a liquid called cytosol that's sort of like jelly. Now, let's learn a little bit more about all the things that are going on in the cell. Look around until you see two big purple objects in front of you. These are two parts of the ribosome, which is like a little machine that makes proteins. You'll see a yellow string move up, and the ribosome attaches to it. The yellow string is called messenger RNA, and it's like an instruction book that tells the ribosome how to make proteins. Take a look around and see if you can find other ribosomes and messenger RNA. They might be behind you or under you. Sometimes more than one ribosome attaches to a string of messenger RNA. Messenger RNA moves through the ribosome, and the ribosome reads the instructions as it moves through. It uses those instructions to put together a new protein. Look around to find proteins floating under you and in the distance. All those proteins were made by ribosomes using instructions from messenger RNA. Now, let's talk about some other parts of the cell. Look around until you see a big organelle that looks like a huge stack of blue pipes. This is called the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is sort of like plumbing for the cell. When the cell makes stuff, like proteins, a lot of the stuff flows through the pipes of the endoplasmic reticulum to different places. There are a lot of different pieces of endoplasmic reticulum in the cell. Look all the way around and see if you can find them all. If you look carefully, you can see that there are actually two kinds of endoplasmic reticulum. One type is light blue with orange dots, and the other type is dark blue and smooth. Now, look for an organelle that's green and next to the endoplasmic reticulum. This is called the Golgi Apparatus. Is there more than one Golgi apparatus in the cell? See if you can find others. The Golgi apparatus is like the post office of the cell. Many things that get made in the cell, like proteins, are taken to the Golgi apparatus, where they're sorted, packaged up, and sent out for delivery. And how do they get delivered? Do you see that thing that looks like a big, colorful bag that's being pulled by little feet? This bag is called a vesicle, and it's filled with proteins. Watch those little feet walk the vesicle package around the cell to where it needs to go. If you take a good look at the Golgi apparatus, you can see it making round vesicles as it packages up proteins. The vesicles leave the Golgi, and they'll get delivered to different locations. See how the vesicle is walking along something that looks like a long, thick wire? This is called a microtubule. Microtubules are kind of like train tracks, and they lead to different places in the cell. Keep looking at the vesicle and the microtubule, and we'll start the video over. You'll see something really cool. Check it out. The microtubule is getting put together from smaller pieces. And if you look down just a little bit, you can see another microtubule that's coming apart. Microtubules don't stay around forever. All the time, new ones get built and old ones get taken apart. Now, tilt your head back and look at the top of the cell. In the distance, you'll see things that look like long strings. These are parts of the cell's cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton is like the bones in your body or the frame of a building. It helps make the cell strong and give it its shape. Above the cytoskeleton, it sort of looks like you can see the roof or the ceiling of the cell. The cell has something that's a lot like skin. It's called the membrane, and it's thin and flexible, kind of like plastic wrap. It surrounds the whole cell and protects the insides. Also at the top of the cell, you'll see some organelles that are shaped like ovals. These are called mitochondria. The mitochondria are like power plants for the cell. They take in food and use that food to make energy. And many things in the cell need energy. The ribosomes need energy to make protein. The microtubules need energy to come together and to come apart. The little feet need energy to walk from one side of the cell to the other. And those are just a few examples. Now, if you look around, you'll see some large objects coming up towards you. These are called proteasomes, and they're like garbage trucks. When the cell has proteins it doesn't need anymore, the proteasomes come and gobble up the old proteins, break them down, so they can be recycled into new ones. Now that you know all about the cell, just look around and explore. The cell is such an amazing place. Even though it's tiny, there's so much going on. And just remember, it might seem unbelievable, but your body is made up of about 40 trillion of these tiny worlds.